Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Hustle Basketball Talk. I'm joined today by point guard Chauncey Hawkins. Chauncey, thank you so much for joining the show.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, man. Growing up in New York, you were in the Bronx, you were in Spring Valley, you were in Harlem. What was it like growing up in New York City and the basketball scene like, and then moving to North Jersey in high school? What was all that like for you?
Uh, it was dope. New York obviously is very diverse, so there's different types of ball players. Like, let's say you in Harlem, you got dudes that can dribble real well. You're in Brooklyn, you got dudes that attack the basket real well. Queens, uh, dudes that usually like they're all around like scores and stuff like that. Like each borough has sort of their own niche. But growing up that like going to school down there, growing up down there in my early formative years, it was dope to really see like, hey, there's all these different versions of people, and you can just try to be the melting pot and put that all into yourself. So then going up to Jersey, moving to Spring Valley, they have great ball players too.
Yeah,
And then moving up to Jersey, it was like I was a little different because I'm going to school in Jersey, but I'm really like I play like I'm from New York.
York, yeah.
So because Jersey guards are more they're smooth, they try to take their time, be a little flashy. But like New York guys are more like gritty and we'll get to it. So going up to New Jersey, going up to St. Joe's, it was a great experience because I was able to use that to my advantage.
For sure, yeah. And you got a lot of different experiences at a young age. So that was an advantage for you to be able to take that to Jersey. And then you had a great high school career there, finished with about 1,200 points. And then the recruiting process for you coming out, being a D1 prospect, what ultimately led you to choose St. Francis College in Brooklyn? And what was the recruiting process like for you?
Well, what led me to choose St. Francis College, Brooklyn, was because it was my only D1 offer.
Okay, there you go.
Uh, but the crazy thing is, I had a bunch of interests. So like the year before when we played Hudson Catholic in the States, and I believe I had like 36.
Yeah.
And they were loaded. Lewis King, Javon Quinterly, Luther Muhammad, Shaheem Burno. They had a bunch of guard play. And it was me, Nate Garvey, Brian Griffin, like a bunch of dudes that we felt like we were underrated.
Yeah.
And so going after that game, I'm like, oh yeah, we gonna make some noise. We're gonna get some offers. Then I started playing with the firm. I played with a bunch of teams, but my main team was Rock Elite, which is a team that I formed up here in Spring Valley with a bunch of dudes that I played with. But I played with the firm, Team Eyes are the players. And it just like there's I don't like using the word politics, but there's a bunch of stuff that goes on
Behind the
that
scenes.
yeah, it's really out of your control.
Yeah.
So like if it was just strictly basketball effort, what you're doing, how you're getting better, then that's a different story. So I didn't really have when I played with the firm, I think that's when I was given mostly a fair chance because we were all underrated. It's just those guys were from Jersey. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So like the firm, it was just crazy. Every tournament, something would happen. So like one tournament, we're in South Carolina, tooth somebody owes me, my front tooth comes out, and I
Oh,
put it back
wow.
in. Like I stuff it back in. I pass out because the blood was crazy.
Yeah.
Then when we're playing Rumble in the Bronx, they have like this thing under the basket. I lay the ball up and I just land right on it. Then I get hurt. Then we're in Vegas. I have like a heat stroke, like a heat rash, and I'm going crazy because
Yeah.
I didn't. When you're young and you're just drinking juice. I'm drinking Arizona every day, so it's $1. So I'm like,
Yeah, you didn't
okay,
have the water in your system.
exactly. So then my AAU season was really like wasted to if you want to say that, but I learned a lot from it. And then I got my offer from actually just playing with St. Joe's. Coach Clive, he happened to see me in third when we played Thurgood Marshall in this private showcase at Dwight Morrow.
Mhm.
And he reached out to me and the recruiting process. One story I will tell is so I was talking to a coach from Boston University,
Yeah.
and I was speaking to them damn near every day. So I think it was Thanksgiving. And I said, "Hey, coach, happy Thanksgiving. Hope all is well." And he's like, he didn't even say happy Thanksgiving back. He just said, "We're all good for class of 2017. Thanks."
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so I screenshotted that, put that as my award.
Motivation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
then by the grace of the Lord, landed at St. Francis.
That's awesome, man. And everything in life, it happens the way it's supposed to. It's kind of crazy though to think like it's such a business though, the college basketball business, like coaches recruiting kids. It's like that lack of personal touch almost that like, yo, you're a 16, 17-year-old kid and like you got grown men acting so
No,
transactional.
that's
No,
crazy.
it's nuts. It actually is crazy sometimes, man. So, hopefully, I think there's a bit of a turn now.
Yeah,
Nowadays,
yeah,
a lot
definitely.
more genuine coaches, but it's kind of crazy that you see that stuff at a young age.
Yeah.
And then once you're at St. Francis College, you go in, you're getting your first taste of Division One basketball. It's one of the smaller Division One schools in the country.
Mhm.
You're not starting as a freshman, and then you develop into the team's leading scorer. You're averaging 15 and 16 your last two seasons there. Also averaged 4.5 assists your last season there. So what was that progression like for you and just that experience competing at the Division One level?
Uh, so it was my first year. We had a bunch of guards, and I actually played a lot compared to like a bunch of kids that they recruited.
Yeah.
And so it was just it was dope. And, obviously it's more comfortable with the seniors and stuff.
Yeah.
So then next sophomore year I started doing that and I'm like, okay, once you make mistakes, it's not bad to fail. That's how you learn.
You can't
And
hang your head on it. Yeah.
exactly. So like I started doing that, playing more. When I was a sophomore, I had a big role as well because I was sixth man. Um, Even though if I felt like I was starting, I was always in the gym, always doing this. And then funny thing is we couldn't even get in the gym.
Yeah.
So I would be working out outside. Like I was doing anything to
Yeah.
just try to get better. And then like over those years, I told you my jump shot, like it was crazy. So like I think confidence, I think just like opportunity, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, I think it was always there. And I think my last year, like I haven't even played well yet, honestly. Like that's just how I'm thinking. Like you can always get better, but I really don't think I've
For
played
sure.
well.
It was
So
just
like
kind of a glimpse of your development because
yeah,
now, you're grad transferring to Bryant University in the same conference, but you had that year now under your belt to develop. You haven't played this past
exactly.
year, so you've been working out what, 3 times a day?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so you're working out 3 times a day, and you already averaged 16 and about 5 assists. So, going to Bryant now, what was that decision to grad transfer, and what do you feel that you're going to show now on the court in this last year of college eligibility?
Yeah. Well, my decision to grad transfer actually, it stemmed from me not taking the vaccine. No, all jokes
Oh,
aside.
okay.
Yeah. So like I'm not an advocate for it, especially if it's hurting people, and I've seen it hurt people within my own family.
Mhm.
So I told them, yeah, if like I was trying to get my master's, and it was like, you can't. They're all my classes are online. You can't take the class if you're not vaccinated. Some funny stuff. So I was like, yo, just change my major to bachelor's in accounting, and I'll just transfer. I'll graduate and then I'll transfer. So I
Yeah.
graduated, transferred. I had about 20 offers, like a bunch of schools hit me up. So I'm just thinking like, yo, what if I would have just if I would have had if I would have foresaw this, what if I would have just transferred right after the season? I would have that the world would have been ours. But we had 20 some offers within transferring in the middle of the season. And a lot of coaches wanted me to play in the spring intercession, but I'm like, I'm not trying to just waste my year. You feel me? I'm not trying to just play half a
Play
year.
a few games and not really show everything you've been
Yeah.
working on. Yeah.
And then on top of that, it's like I'm just getting thrown in the fire, like getting going to rush. But I
Yeah.
know patience is a virtue, so I'm like, yo, I'm not like really in a rush, like because I know myself. If I'm not playing like I'm working out regardless,
Yeah.
even if I wasn't playing basketball. So Bryant, I didn't. I was just Jared, Coach Grasso. He hit me, and he was just like, "Yo, what up?" And honestly, I thought like not that it was a joke, but I'm like, "Yo, really? We just played you guys."
Yeah.
You
We
feel me?
just played you. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, and out of my respect, I went to go visit, But
Mhm.
once I visited, man, I just fell in love. Like, I'm like, they have all of this and they're in my conference. Like, this don't look like no NEC stuff. They got the best strength and conditioning coach in the country. They
Huh.
got the weight room is crazy. You got 24/7 access to the gym. And mind you, I'm making those like jumps, and I wasn't even able to get in the gym like that. Like,
Yeah.
so it's like it's crazy. The player development is dope. You see what they're doing with Peter Kiss? Like, he's doing his thing.
For sure. And
You
they
know?
just made the NCAA tournament, so they have a lot of momentum for the program right now too.
Yeah, and Charles Pro, all of them, like they're doing their thing. So like with Bryant, I went on the visit. They showed me around. Aesthetically, it looked dope. But
Yeah.
then when I went and spoke to all the coaches when we were in this room, they broke down to me like, hey man, think about this. We played the third fast at the time, they played the third fastest in the country. I don't know what they play now, but it's like if we play this fast and our because the point guard they had before, I think Michael Green or something,
Yeah.
had like 120 more possessions than me, 130. So I'm like, just imagine a world where you have that many more possessions. I just can't wait, man. Sky's the limit. And I appreciate them for reaching out because if they didn't, I wouldn't have known the diamond in the rough that it was.
Absolutely, man. And then, building kind of off of the progression that you've been working on right now, what do you feel is your biggest strength on the court and what you're going to bring to, Bryant next season?
Oh, well now my one of my biggest strengths is shooting. But nah, honestly, I think it's just I was my speed. Just being able to play defense, uh hard, able to make guys better. Uh and the ability to lead. Like I like leading by example, you know what I'm saying, talking to guys, making sure they're comfortable, making sure they know what they're doing. But yeah, that's I just want to win. That's
You're
what
a
I want.
winner.
Yeah, thank you. But not yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not yet.
You still got a lot to prove, man. You still got a lot to prove. But
Yeah, I
that's
can't
good that
wait.
you're willing to put the work in because that's the only way you're going to see the results.
Nice. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
And then, so going, through your long basketball career so far, what's your favorite memory that you've had so far?
All right. Well, Rock Elite, we won Dykeman, the Dykeman tournament when we were 14. That was a dope experience. It was fun. We won nationals. They didn't give us the trophy because the two teams got disqualified.
Oh, wow.
They started fighting. It was crazy. It
That's
was a
why
big
they got disqualified?
yeah, it was a
Oh, wow.
huge brawl. It was hilarious. But then honestly getting my offer, like it just showed you that anything's possible. Because the amount of people that I had say, like I went to Future 150
Yeah.
and I don't know if it's even still around, but it was this like scout showcase thing. So I'm going there, I'm doing my thing. And I go look online, see what they say. It
Mhm.
was like Chauncey Hawkins, Spring Valley, like no rating. What do they say? Prospected playing area, something like that. It
Yeah.
was like Division 3. So I'm like,
They
copy.
said Division three?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So like it was crazy. But the amount of people that said I wouldn't do it, couldn't do it, and then I did it. Now
Yeah.
I'm excelling, I'm exceeding. You see a bunch of people making that U-turn, like, yo, always believed in you, man. Like, we didn't.
Yeah. Where were you when I was 17 and they were saying this?
Yeah, where were you when I was shooting in the gym, baby?
Yeah, for sure. That's funny, man. That's a good story, though. I mean, that motivation, that fuel to the fire, right?
Yeah.
And outside of basketball, what are your interests? Who are you when you're not, getting reps up in the gym, trying to kill on the court? Who are you?
Man, Chauncey, I'm a energizer bunny. Like all my friends, like, yo, bro, why you have so much energy? You wake up at 5 in the morning every day, man. What do you like? What's wrong with you? I just love spending time with my friends, my family, my moms, my pops, my little sister, my brother, Rich, Bryce, Danny. Oh my God, Art. I just like spending time with family and laughing. Like,
Yeah.
man. And oh, Warzone too. I'm tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're nice at Call of Duty?
Yeah. Warzone. What else do I like doing? I'm a great cook. That's one thing.
What's
You
the
feel me?
best thing you could cook?
Best thing, my steak is crazy.
Okay.
I got these like barbecue chicken cutlets. That's wild.
When did you pick up cooking? Like growing up or in college?
Nah, in college. So my pops told me. So like I remember eating because we used to when we used to live in Spring Valley, I remember eating. I'm like, yo, every time you cook, it tastes the same. Like I love your food. So I'm like, I called him like I'm in the kitchen. Funny story. I'm in the kitchen. I call him. I'm asking how to cook steak. So I'm like, all right, bet. So I got used to cooking it. I'm nice. And there's a like at St. Francis, our dorms were like with 50 other schools. Like it was a hotel.
Oh
So
wow.
there was a culinary school in the school. And I guess they were having like a test, but I was just there cooking by myself. Like there was one free stove. So he comes by and like just takes my like takes a piece of the steak. He's like, I'm like, what are you doing? And I didn't know that was the teacher.
Yeah.
He was like, this is impressive. This is dope. You know what I'm saying? He's complimenting my food. I'm like, yo, I don't go to your school. He's like, oh, really? Wow. And so,
I thought you were a culinary student. That's
yeah,
funny.
yeah. So now, if anybody says I'm a bad cook, they're lying.
Okay. That's good, man. That's good. And then what's your why, man? I like to end the show with what's your why? What's your motivation every single day to be the best person you could be on and off the court?
All right. So that's a great question. Uh, when you ask that, I'm gonna shout out my brother's brave Bryce. See why soon. Count yourself in and make something out of nothing.
Yep.
So my why is like obviously my family,
Yeah.
but with that, like the last name Hawkins, like I really just want everybody to know it. Like you gotta know Chauncey Hawkins, the fourth, the third, second, first. So I'm like doing that to allow them to live through me. So
Yeah.
like me pushing so hard is for my family to live through me. I want to be like the reason we doing well, the reason we out of, you know what I'm saying, we
Yeah.
make it out, the reason that um a person that my brothers could lean on financially, mentally, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I just want to be that guy that's like, yo, he did it. That's who you gotta look up to. You know what I'm saying? And especially to little kids, like I'm starting up this my YouTube channel, like, and so it was crazy. Like I'm at my boy Willie's game. He played for Passaic County Community College, and some little kid, they're like, hey, you're Chauncey. Oh my gosh, I was watching your YouTube. Why'd you stop? And I honestly didn't think like I was getting like 500 views, and I wasn't really like pressed for it. I'm like, yeah, I'll just do it like another time when we get bigger.
Yeah.
But the fact that he came up to me, he's like, yo, I loved watching your videos. I just want to keep watching. Why'd you stop? Blah, blah, blah. So now I'm like, damn, it's like bigger than me. You feel me?
Sure. You're
So it
making an
goes,
impact.
yeah, and it goes further than my family. It goes to little kids that just watch me, little kids that grow up and they want to do what I'm doing, especially them not being blessed with being 6'8" or six
Yeah.
five. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I just want to be that insight, be that voice to help them. And I know I'm not gonna be a person that ever changes once they get that status. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So yeah, that's really my why.
That's awesome, man. That's a great why. Make an impact on, friends and family's life and just, people that you don't even expect, like that little kid that came up to you and stuff. So
Nice.
that's great, man. And, thank you so much for being a part of the show. I'm sure you're going to be successful. In your career, we already know that you're putting in the work. It's going to happen. But just in life in general, man, I could tell by your attitude, your personality, you're going to be extremely successful.
I appreciate you for having me, bro. This is a blessing. Thank
Yeah,
you.
of course, brother. Well, yeah, we'll look forward to following your journey and stuff and kill it this season at Bryant, man.
Yes, sir.